All right, everyone. Good afternoon, evening. This is the Sam Oxford Jr. Show coming to you live from Frederick, Maryland. Let me get a few mentions in here. First of all, Shirt Gallery is our shirt supplier. It, they're in Martin, Kentucky, uh, my neighboring Oxford, Kentucky. So, anyway, give a shout out to them. They do great work. You need any t shirts, embroidery work, whatever, get it. This Thursday, 2 days from now, Mr. Don Hardy Jr. from Floydada, Texas, will be with us, and he'll teach us a little something about building race cars, And right now, we have none other than John Clor and Mike Ray with us tonight. John from Ford and Mike from the Mustang Club. Let me get this right, Mike. And your title is?
I am president of the Mustang Owners Club of Southeastern Michigan, which is better known in the automotive world as Moxum.
Oh, okay. All right. I was trying to get that into my ad that I was doing, but I ran out of space. So I'm sorry about that. Mike, if you could get a little more sound, we'd probably be a little better. I had to fix John's. He screwed up everything.
He made me wear this monkey thing.
That better?
Yes. Tell me again.
That better over there?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Who's going to start out tonight?
Well, we have to have Mike start out because the reason why we're really in this whole hobby is guys like Mike Ray, who have taken just a love for a car and turned it into beyond a hobby. It's really his life's passion, and he still has a job full time, and he's still married. That's the scary two things. He's able to run one of the largest Mustang clubs on the continent,
right?
And at the same time, and do all these things, become a household name in the hobby, and do all these things, and yet still, have a house and a life. I don't know how you do it, Mike.
That'd be tough.
Well, and John hates when I say this too, but to be honest, I was a very shy guy in public. I would not speak at a general meeting. I would not want to stand up and speak in front of anybody. And then I met John Clor, and I admired him on how easy everything came to him. So I just met John, and we just started talking, and basically, as they always say, the rest is history. But I used to read off a piece of paper, Sam, when I was in front of public. And I mean, literally word for word off of a piece of paper. And John told me you can no longer ever do that. And yes, that was me. And
John has it, though.
We did a general meeting at the Ford World headquarters with all the Ford brass there. I mean, Edsel was there, Mark Fields, anybody you can think of, Jim Farley. Everybody was there. And John told me you cannot read off a piece of paper in front of all these people. So he gave me a tip and just said, put everything as bullet points on a piece of paper. You know what you want to say on every topic, and just do it like that. And I have. And since then, now you can't take a microphone out of my hand if you give me one, and I don't do script anymore.
That's a true story, Sam. True story.
Did anybody ever tell you not to listen to him?
No, what he's not telling everybody out there is that at this meeting, two things really struck me. I've been at Ford 10 years at SVT, and by this time it was maybe another 10 years at Ford Racing. And he said the night before this meeting, I said, how does a club get a meeting in Ford World Headquarters Auditorium? How does this work? Of course, I accidentally gave him the name of the Ford land person. And Mike is very persuasive. Somehow he talked his way, hey, host my club meeting there. Well, then, hey, Bill Ford, is Edsel in the house? Is Mark Fields in the house? Is the head of racing? All these people are coming down. The rule was you had to be a club member and have your membership card if you're going to get in the Ford World Headquarters Auditorium. And they made the club police it. So what Mike's not telling you is the activities director, there's a big ruckus going on. I heard somebody hollering, and I said, oh, don't let that guy in. And the guy was trying to get in without a membership card was some guy named Edsel B. Ford.
Oh, is that right?
She said, I'm sorry, sir, you don't have a membership card. He goes, but my name's on the building.
That's a true story, Sam.
Is that right?
Yeah, and the other thing he's not telling you is the night before, he said, hey, listen, I've got the bullet points down. I'm just going to glance and talk, but I got to do announcements. I got to do like bios on all these guys that are going to come up and speak. I mean, Mark Fields and Edsel Ford, and can you help me? I said, sure. What do you need? He goes, write all the bios and get them to me by tomorrow morning.
True story again.
Sure.
But he did it.
Wait a minute, Mike. So I had to stay up late that night because I like this guy. And sure enough, he got up there and man, did he deliver. I wrote him kind of loose and fast.
Yeah, I bet.
But Mike got a compliment. Mike, didn't you? Was it Mark Fields?
Well, Mark Fields was coming up on stage. I had just given the bio, and he was walking up on stage, and he was shaking my hand. He leaned over to whisper something in my ear, and he says, I got to tell you, I've been in this business a long time. That was the greatest intro I've ever had anywhere ever. And I said, well, thank you very much. I did not tell him John wrote it.
Oh, no.
Did he send you a car for your demo or something? A Mustang?
And I actually have that picture, Sam, of him leaning over and whispering in my ear.
Is that right? Well, that's priceless, man.
Yes.
It really is. That's fantastic. Let me make sure we're going full steam here. So yeah, there we are. We're full steam.
What's the fuel pressure? Make sure we got enough fuel pressure. That's usually the case.
Hold on a second. Hold
on. Mike always adds boost.
Who needs it? Anyway?
You don't need any boost, Mike.
Oh God. Oh man. So your duty today, John, was to give this talk for.
Well, it's true. Mike can tell you that Ford Racing. Eventually, SVT turned into Ford Racing, and then Ford Racing was disbanded. Right. And then all of a sudden they say we're Ford Performance. Well, I'd created a club support program where I kind of did a lot of the communications work. And my background was journalism. I worked 10 years at Auto Week, 15 years at the Detroit News. So my background is writing and editing. So I'd run the SVT website, the racing website. And now it was my turn to, do something with the clubs and support them. And we talked about, doing a program where the clubs I can communicate with them. They're the best brand advocates in the world. So during this program, by the time we became Ford Performance, and my boss at Ford Performance when we first started a few years ago was some kid named Henry Ford III.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, and then our chief engineer was Dave Parasak. So it was a great moment. And it struck me how many people were coming into these performance area and didn't know anything about Ford heritage. They knew nothing about history.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. So, and Mike and I are always amazed that, when we see a lot of the comings and goings in Ford Motor Company, we've been around a little bit longer than most people. And when we see someone come up and they're rocketing to the stars, they don't bother doing any homework. So what I offered to do today with all the new people coming into Ford Performance, I said, hey, let's spend a virtual hour before you start your internship or your summer at Ford, or whether it's engineering or marketing, whatever you're doing with Ford Performance, 100 people, young people. Let's understand where we came from, that we have a heritage of performance. It goes back to the beginning of the company, and from the total performance era through the formation of the lightweights and all the things you did in total performance, Sam. And then, of course,
you mentioned my name.
Racing. Remember, we left racing entirely in the 70s when.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got back into it, and we gave a bunch of engineers the ability to make a car, and they call it the SVO.
Yeah.
And they said the car that sells itself. Well, guess what? It didn't sell itself. So then we created SVT, and then we went to Ford Racing and Team RS, and now. So I wanted all these young people, to know we have a heritage of building on Ford and Shelby and the great names, and Sam Oxford Jr. and the total performance era, and all the great things we did with the lightweight race cars, and from the 60s right through last year through Le Mans, that we just went back 50 years later. All these things should be told to these kids coming to the company. And Mike, didn't you say we should have a rule, like have a Ford University? If you work at Ford, you should at least know the heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That goes for anything in the performance world, for sure.
Yeah, because otherwise, when you don't have heritage, what I told the kids, if you don't have any, if everything's a gimmick, we have Carol Shelby and Steve McQueen, and none of these things were gimmicks. But if you don't have heritage, then you wind up hiring a couple of dancing hamsters.
I love it. Okay.
That makes you cool.
Right. I know.
Yes, that's what I did today.
Took them words out of my mouth. Really.
Mike went off and sold a bunch of cars, and he's getting ready to go to yet another car show. I don't know how you do it, Mike.
You can handle it, right?
I'm going to 2 speaking events. I'm going to a car show this week. No, 2
Well,
car
Sam,
shows. Yeah, 2 car shows.
The Mustang Club wasn't taking up enough of my time, so I decided to start a Bronco Club as well.
Right.
Yes, Moxham. Now it's got Boxham.
Yes,
The Bronco
Boxham is the Broncos Owners Club of Southeastern Michigan.
So he's got 2 clubs now.
Oh, geez. Now, what dealership do you work for?
I work at Gorno Ford in Woodhaven, Michigan.
Woodhaven. Now, where's that located? In general, like
15,
Not far from Flat Rock, where the Mustang is made.
Yeah, not far from Flat Rock, but about 15, 20 minutes west of the city of Detroit downtown.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, Mike is the performance salesperson.
Yeah.
And it's not that he wouldn't sell you a
hope.
Yeah, he's slung a lot of GT 500s and GT 350s and Raptors and
Did a Raptor yesterday. Yeah.
Have you sold many of the actual GT?
The 4 GTs, yes, I delivered
The
a couple of those.
$800,000 dude,
Yeah, I've delivered a couple of those
Sam
as well.
Walker can own, yeah.
When I went out to Scottsdale for a Barrett Jackson show, there at the place I stayed one night was a GT, and the guys said, "Well, we want you to drive it down to Barrett Jackson tomorrow morning," and I said, "There is no way am I driving that thing." I said, "How much did it cost?" He says, $600,000. I said, "I could picture this thing upside down on its roof." And I'm going like, "No,
it's the same principle: rubber side down, shiny side up.
Right. I sat down in that car. I swear, the whole time I'm sitting there like, how in the hell am I going to get out of here?
Sam, I was very fortunate to be, I was employed at Roush Performance at the time when Jack Roush Sr. got his delivery of his, and he was number 15 of all time of the new generation Ford GT. So I was there when he got delivered, and Jack got in that car and just took off down the street. It was really, really a great sight to see that. Something I'll never forget.
Well, this guy told me, he said, "Well, we got another one on order." He says, it's $800,000. I said, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, geez. That's crazy. John, how many do you have in your garage?
I've got about 30
or
164th scale.
60.
And I got a million of these things. Oh,
I
I even have one that's 1/18th scale.
118. That's the best kind. No maintenance.
Top for it. I came up with some cash.
Insurance.
No, I have to be a cheapskate. But no, the problem is Mustangs are like, I don't know, potato chips. You can't have just one.
Yeah, that's right.
And when you get one, then you want another one, and then you get another one, and then the wife asks you, "What's wrong with you?" And then you're telling the kids, "I'm spending your inheritance." Who wants to be the richest man in the cemetery?
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I earned it. Why don't they go out and earn their own stuff?
Yeah, you can put that on your tombstone in one of them cars. That's all.
Yeah. Sorry, kids. Sorry, I spent it. I spent it all. Every damn dime.
Every time.
You don't really need that many cars. It does get, I think in Michigan, at least, Sam, with a lot of the people in the club, people would, it's not that they don't have the wherewithal to have more than one or two. Mike's got a couple cars. It's when you live as a typical middle-class person, you don't have the room to store them in your typical 2-car suburbia garage.
Yeah.
You just have no place to put them.
That's an issue right there.
Cost as much as a couple of $1,000s a year for storage, and you thought, and I would need that money because I got to spend it on gas.
Well, you do now. It's all going to change. Don't sit back and wait. It's
And Mike talked me into a car with a 93 octane tune. Like
that's the best kind,
Instead of $5 a gallon, it's like $9 a gallon. What? Premium.
Mike, what do you got in your garage, Mike?
I have a 2005 Mustang GT, and I have a 1993 GT convertible Mustang. That's actually currently right now on display at the Halderman Museum in Tip City, Ohio. And then I also just picked up a couple Fridays ago a brand new 2022 Ford Bronco Wildtrak.
Oh, wow. See, that's great. You know, when you work for Ford, this is what happens. You know,
If he worked for Ford, there would be no cars left. As soon as we got a chip in the house, he would put it in the truck and drive it.
As soon as we could get a chip to get it started, we'd be
That's
ready.
right.
Well,
the funny thing on that is, so I was checking my orders today, and Explorers are starting to go back on microchip holds again.
Is that right?
They were good for a while, but the last two I checked today, both are on microchip hold now.
Where the hell do they come from? Where's the chip come from?
China.
Oh my God! Yeah, geez. Well, that explains that problem.
Yeah, a couple of the plants caught on fire there, and that's
Ford's
fires
we had a fire at their factory, completely wiped out the entire source, and then they had a COVID outbreak, and where we got them in Thailand. Remember, we got some from Thailand.
Yeah,
we just had horrible luck. And then when they finally can build a Raptor or a couple of GT500s, what happens to them, Mike? We're in the headlines. They're getting stolen out of the factories here in Michigan.
Stolen right out of there.
Yeah, they've stolen GT500s, and I hear, was it just the other day, Mike? More Raptors got stolen.
3 more Raptors the other day. Yeah.
Well, that's got to be from somebody inside.
Hey, where's my car? I don't know. I think I saw it go that way.
That's right. I mean, people must be stealing them from inside the factory. They're not stealing them.
I don't know. It's crazy though. Yeah, you think the security would be a little bit more, especially for the performance vehicles.
But they're probably the ones that are stealing it. So,
right.
You know.
Well, let's face it. They get outside of the factory. There's a third party, a security company. They don't pull the keys out of every car, because how would you have 10,000 keys and try to put them back?
Right.
Before they're loaded onto trucks. So the keys are in them. So someone is tipping off somebody else, and it's just sad because a Raptor or a GT500, Mike, is there any transaction prices under 100,000 for those cars?
Very rare. So if you get a base GT500, you can get under 100. You get a base Raptor, you'll be in the 80s. But you want a Raptor R or a GT500 carbon package, yeah, those are both over 100.
Good gracious. Well,
the new world that's out there right now, and prices just keep going up, and the rebates keep going down.
That's what I noticed.
Yeah.
I said the interest rates keep going up, the rebates keep going down, and we got
average lease payment on any vehicle right now is around $500 a month.
Is that right?
Yeah,
lease payment.
I'm even talking about an Escape.
Well, I don't even see.
It's crazy.
I tried to figure it the other day, and I said, there's no way. Every car payment's got to be 500 or more. I mean,
easy.
Do the math. It's not hard.
My new Bronco is $700 a month.
Which is why Americans are keeping their vehicles longer than ever before. The average age, I'm going to say the word average again, the average age of vehicles on the U.S. highways is 12 years old. Now, people, it's not uncommon to hit 200,000 miles. I've got a 2001, so it's a 23-year-old truck, 22-year-old truck, with 250,000 miles on it that I just don't want to sell. It's just, it runs and runs. And
exactly.
And what? My payment.
Yeah, that's the best part about it.
Yeah, that's the best part. I mean, I couldn't have to replace it. What's a new, even a XLT Super Crew, Mike, is
$550 easy.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep it until it just says no mas, and flips over on the side of the road. And at this point, it doesn't burn oil. It doesn't. I had the leaks fixed. So we need the young people to become repairmen to keep our older cars on the road.
Hey, have you tried to get a car repaired lately at a Ford dealer?
They can't get techs. Young kids want to get greasy. You get your hands.
It's horrible.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Is it the parts, Mike, too?
Yeah. I mean, they can't get parts. I got so many people that have had their vehicle in there for 2 or 3 weeks, and we just can't get parts in.
That's right. And you wait 2 or 3 weeks to get an appointment to get it in there.
Yeah.
And then you got to wait 2-3 weeks for a piece that God knows where it comes from.
Yep.
And that's why you keep your 22-year-old truck in your driveway.
That's why I picked up a 2006 Ford Explorer. That was really, really nice vehicle up in the country, up in Pennsylvania, and I picked that up and I got it in Maryland inspected, which is not easy. And so anyway, the thing is everything I need. I mean, it's 4x4 and it's got all the options on it, and everybody else paid for the first part of it.
Right,
Wow.
right.
Let somebody else play that game.
Yeah, somebody else pay the cost of that. Let it happen. Well,
Yeah, right, right.
well, you guys haven't really been keeping up on the headlines, because if you really want to do your thing as a human being, just recently the World Economic Forum has said that to really reduce the world's carbon footprint, people should give up owning private cars entirely. Just take.
Oh,
They don't want you to drive at all.
They want
And
you to
take
just
your bicycle or public transport. They're
bicycle.
calling for the end of private ownership of automobiles.
Well, these are some wacky people we got out there.
Yeah,
I tell you
yeah.
right
What's going on?
crazy bastards.
Unreal. So yeah, that's what I want to do, Mike. I want to sell all my cars, and then the first 30-degree below zero day, I want to take my bike down to 7-Eleven and get some coffee.
Put some snow tires on it.
There we go.
That's why we fought in all the wars,
Yeah, exactly. So we can be the loser.
and we can go back to be a
of
third world
everything.
nation. What the heck?
It's crazy, you know. So
But I'm not going to give up my keys. Neither is Mike, and hopefully all the enthusiasts out there, Sam. You know, we
That's
talk
right.
a lot about ownership, but no offense to the people who are just owning their car to drive around. The ones that really float the boat for us are enthusiasts, people that come
Right.
to events, people who are in clubs like Moxum.
right,
These people don't just want a car; they love them.
they
they're-
love
they-
the car.
They're,
That's
they're,
right.
they're lifestyle around the car, which is
Yeah.
why now Mike's got 2 clubs. I got more work than I can possibly do to try to keep up with. I'm trying to get all 850 clubs I found on the internet to register with Ford. On Ford.
850 of them.
Well, we have about 500 in FordPerformanceClubConnect.com. But I know I just did a search a couple years ago and got 850 on just this continent. So,
Yeah.
and how many Facebook groups are out there that are
Oh, jeez.
blue
Another-
Mustangs with
another
red
850.
tires? Facebook group. I want them all to register with Ford, and it's not easy because we're growing. Let's grow the love of this thing called the automobile before they take it all away, and we're all
Yeah.
driving bicycles again.
Yeah, they're doing their best, to. Don't get me started on all that now.
Sorry, Sam. I just
We'll
want you
get
to
on a whole nother subject here.
Explorer. I mean, you're going to own it. You're going to drive it, and I want you to enjoy driving. When Mike gets off work, it's a tough day at the dealership. He gets in his Bronco. He just drives right over the median. Use the road.
Right.
I
You
do
don't
love
need to
that
make it-
Bronco, man. Ford hit a home run with that vehicle. I can tell you
Oh,
that.
I see them everywhere here, every place.
Yeah.
With the vent valves and no, I didn't. Don't say that.
Have you heard a lot of people complaining about using the word maverick on a truck?
I was sort of amazed myself about it. I just sort of like I was taken back that it would be a Maverick on a truck.
Well, didn't you race a Maverick, Sam?
You don't have to bring that up. You can, no, everybody loved that car except me. But
Why? It was fast.
no,
That was a fast car.
that was a work of insanity there. So it was we don't go there. I just can't picture it being a name on a pickup truck.
Well, a lot of people were asking why didn't they call it the Courier?
Yeah.
For those who remember the small pickup. And I
We
think
could have
Ford's
used something.
playing brand games. They're putting a pony on an electric car. They're putting Maverick, a car name, on a truck, and interchanging. That happened with Mercury. I started taking the great Mercury names from the past, and then Lincoln went through an era where they were doing XM, MS, LS, MFT, MX. Something.
Yeah, right. I know.
No, he's driving a Lincoln XT GM. What?
I was trying to look for a used one. And I was so confused about the
Yeah, which
number.
one is?
What
Yeah,
the,
which one is that?
what is it?
I knew what a Zephyr was. I know what a Continental is.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
We have great names that mean something, and they threw it all out because they want to be like Mercedes.
Exactly.
We want to be like Lexus, the Lexus IG4L 6L30 with a shaver foil front grille. Don't ever run into a dog because the dog will be buck naked, will lose all its hair with that shaver grill.
Shaver. Yeah, that is.
So, I mean,
I don't know where they come up with some of these grills. No,
we've got great heritage. The company's got great heritage, and our clubs. There's a club for every. There's a big Maverick club. In fact, they're having a big show up in Geneva, Ohio, coming up in a few weeks. The Maverick and Comet boys are going to, and the Plymouth guys are going to come up there, and they're going to have this big old meet. They have it every year up off Lake Erie, and people don't realize every single Ford product has got a club for it. And Sam, you saw that at Carlisle.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, Carl, are you going back there next year?
Mike, are we going to Carlisle?
I don't know. What is it? 248 days away?
See, I got my calendar marked. Yeah, there it is.
If I never went to Carlisle, I would have never met you.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I've been going there about 12 years, I guess.
John has never missed one ever.
I've been at the first one.
Is that right?
Yep. And I brought a 10x10 and a Cobra R. I was the only Ford person at the Ford Nationals for several years. Actually, that was the case. And then when my eldest son, graduated high school, it was on the Carlisle weekend. I told my wife, I can't go.
He can't
Carlisle weekend. She goes, "You're going to miss your son's graduation for a car show?" I said, first of all, it's not a car show. It's the Carlisle Ford National. Second of all, who doesn't graduate high school? Here's a camera. Take pictures.
True story again, Sam.
And then when the second one graduated, she goes, "You're not going to miss his graduation too." I said, "Well, I didn't go to the first one, so I can't go to this one."
Yeah, you don't want to be like deprived of
right.
the other one, God.
Mike, we just, there's something about that show, like there is, Sam. I don't know, Sam, have you ever been to Mustang Memories when it was held behind Ford World Headquarters, the show Mike puts on? Have you ever been to that one?
No.
Mike.
No.
We have to get him there next year for the big SVT reunion.
See, I wasn't invited. I've been
next
kicked
year,
out.
Sam, we're going to have to get you there because we're going to do a big one. We're returning to World Headquarters next year, and we're expecting over 1,000 cars again for a one-day all Ford show.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And Ford people have been known to walk down around there, and I remember the last time Mike had an SVT reunion, some guy with a 93 Cobra parked in the morning, says, "Hey, didn't you work at SVT?" I go, "Yeah, that's a nice little car." He goes, "Yeah, boy, I really know. I love this thing." I said, "Yeah, I'm at Ford Racing now." And he goes, "Well, wait a minute. There's a guy looking at my car." I go, "Well, that's just not a guy." So he runs over there and he says to the guy looking at his car, "You know anything about these?" And the gentleman says, "Oh, yes." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "This is made by SVT. You know anything about SVT?" The gentleman said, "Oh, yes, I worked at Ford." He said, "Where'd you work?" And he said, looked at World Headquarters, said, "Up there." It was Neil Ressler. He was the founder, one of the co-founders of SVT. And they're known that Etzel
What
walks
the hell
around.
do you know about it?
Yeah, they come out to look at the cars behind World Headquarters on a Sunday afternoon, and
Jim Farley is still there every single year.
Farley comes out. Bill's been known to come out. Etzel's been. Henry III's been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I tease a lot of people. It's a family company. We were lucky enough to hang out with Henry III. Mike actually can call Etzel.
Henry III signed the dashboard on my '69 Mustang.
Henry's a great kid, man.
Yeah.
Great kid.
Yeah.
If there's a God out there, he should make sure that one day Henry III becomes the CEO of Ford, because the guy is the real
Henry
deal.
Gets it. He's always willing to listen. Just all around great guy. And
I thought he was probably
yep,
that type of person.
Well,
first of all, he was there at that show.
Well, Sam, he started out, he was selling cars over at Galpin Ford.
Is that
And
right?
the rumor I heard was his first day, some guy's looking at an Explorer, and he walks over and he sees Henry's name badge and he goes, "Oh, you're Henry Ford. Yeah, okay." And he was. Yes, he is. He is Henry Ford.
Right.
See, that's why Mike wants to get his name legally changed to Mike Ford.
Yeah.
Mike Ford.
He should be.
You know, nothing wrong with that. Shoot.
No, but we're just lucky that we do work for some great people at the company, and Mike, like, running the clubs. Like right now, there's a lot of activity going on. Whenever they need something, they call me, and I say, "Well, I can't help you. Well, I write. So what I do is I call Mike, and then Mike knows people. You see, he makes phone calls, and then things that you need, like, hey, can you get a blue '66 convertible at this photo shoot? And the answer is no, but Mike Ray can.
Actually, I got one right now. Request yesterday that they need a Fox body for Channel 7 for the Woodward Dream Cruise. They want a Mustang Fox body.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
That's not all they need, Mike. There's tons of requests. I haven't talked to you yet this week. There's lots of stuff, and that's the beauty, Sam, of being the enthusiast communications guy, the liaison, if you will,
Right.
between Ford and all the clubs, and then knowing guys like Mike, who is connected. Mike worked at Roush, he worked at Celine. He's been to Barrett, he's been to all the shows, SEMA. He knows if Mike doesn't know you, you ain't nobody.
John,
yeah. See, it's like this. So you've seen The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I may have.
So, see, I'm the guy that says, "Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I am the great up." I'm pulling all these strings and things. I'm not really doing anything. The guy
pass the buck.
Stuff, yeah. See, Mike's the one that gives people a heart and a brain.
Right.
I'm just pulling levers and trying to keep the club people from running all over each other and using Ford logos inappropriately.
Yeah, right. Geez, who would do that?
So, Sam, the big question Mike and I had for you tonight, I know you've been asking us a lot of questions.
Okay,
when are you getting back into drag racing?
Do what?
When are you getting back into drag racing?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I wish, but I follow NASCAR a little more than I follow drag racing.
Really? Don't you do nostalgia drags? Aren't there a lot of those nostalgia drag racing events that they have an FE reunion, the FE?
I like them both, but the only problem is right now is in drag racing is the format of if you're going to go with top fuel cars, then this 1,000-foot thing, and are we ever going to see two of them go down the drag strip the same time? Like it's blow up, it's spin the tires, it's everything that you can imagine. But a side by side race, whatever. So.
Well, just recently the NMRA had their big Ford Nationals, and I was told that during the elimination rounds, it was an all-female shootout. So 4 Mustangs driven by 4 girls.
Yeah.
Finals, and so I'm going to get Evan Smith to go out and write me up. What the heck happened? The 4 girls are in the finals. Usually their reaction time is only fast when you drop your credit card.
I just seen John. You and Evan are doing a show in Jersey together, right?
We're going to the New Jersey All Ford meet. Yes, we are. We're going to both be there.
Yep.
Where's that?
That's in just inside the Jersey border of Millstone Township, New Jersey.
Yeah.
At a big, it's held at a business park. And the coolest thing, Sam, he just gets a bunch of people. You don't have to be in a club. He gives you the donuts for free and the coffee for free. You don't buy it. And he gets sponsors to pop just some free stuff. You show up, kick some tires, get a free bunch of stuff, talk to some friends, and leave. You're out of there by 2 p.m. You don't get there till 10 a.m. It's just a few hours.
Is that right?
Go to Sunday services, go win a trophy and a banner, and then go to lunch. I mean that,
Sounds,
and
sounds good.
Mike, it's Dave Wasenda,
Yeah.
a
Yep.
super collector. Who talk about a guy who's got some phenomenal classic and
Is that
collectible.
right? Yeah.
Another Fox body nut. This guy's got some super low mileage. The Fox body seems, Mike, has really hit its bubble. The Mustang 2 came through and prices went up. Now it's Fox. The Foxes are hot.
Yeah, they're
Look,
everything.
John, I was just
Jeez.
telling people this week. So it always used to be my 2005 was worth double what my Fox was. Now it's flip flop. My Fox is worth double what my 05's worth.
Right, exactly.
True story. Yeah.
They're
Well,
really.
They tell me
bringing big
this year
bucks.
for Foxtoberfest out at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, they're expecting 700 or 800 Fox bodies.
I would love
Is
to
that
go to
right?
that one with you, John.
Wow.
That's crazy. Mike, you know those people.
Yes.
Can you
Yeah,
can
I know,
you-
John. Yeah.
can you give me room for my little 10x10 Ford Performance tent?
Yeah. I want to go with you.
No,
Well, see, if you guys can get me a car somewhere, we done sold all of them now.
that's right. Well, we should get you a Maverick.
Gosh, I'd appreciate that.
If you can get one. I don't think even Mike can get a Maverick.
Well,
They're tough. I'll tell you what, the hybrids are really tough, and they're all built in Mexico, and I haven't even gotten one of my hybrids yet.
is that right?
Yeah, they've been almost a year, and I haven't got one yet.
Well, speaking of Mexico, Ford is like a bad Mexican restaurant. We got tons of salsa and no chips.
That's a bad one, I tell you.
Another dad joke.
Where did you
Okay.
come up with that?
Dad joke. Yeah. Thanks, Sam.
This stuff, Sam.
You didn't tell that today to us under.
No, I didn't. Well,
geez,
no,
I'm
the
glad
kids-
you didn't-
kids.
didn't bring that one up.
No, but they do like the product lineup we have now. They like it. You just can't buy it. I feel badly for the company. We can't build cars. I feel badly for the cars we've built that are getting a lot rot, waiting for completion. And
Yeah.
I go by Mike's dealership, my own dealership, every Ford dealership
Yeah.
across the country. There's no inventory. Eventually, they want you to do an order-only system, kind of like Tesla, where you only have.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that. We grew up in a different era. We're used to.
Oh god. And then I hear they want to make the electric division totally a
Separate. Yeah.
dealer. I mean, a manufacturer's deal.
Yep.
Not a.
Well, not having other cars to buy on the lot, Mike. There would be no such thing as Gail Wise.
That's correct.
Sam, do you know who Gail Wise is?
No. What is it?
She is a school teacher out of Chicago that in 1964 walked into a dealership, wanted to buy a car with
Oh,
cash in hand.
Right.
And
Right. No.
They tried to show her a Fairlane convertible. She didn't want it.
Right. Right.
Walk out and they said, well, we got something in the back. She can't show it to you for the next couple of days.
Right.
But so when she looked at it, it was this beautiful Mustang convertible. She said,
Yeah.
I love this car. I want it. And I have the money right now. And they said, well, so, okay. So they write the deal up and she drives off the Mustang 2 days before they launched it. She has the first retail sale Ford Mustang in the country
Yeah.
because Mike, and I heard that salesman didn't lose his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did not.
Yeah. And I think they interviewed the salesman and he just said, well, I wanted the sale.
Yeah.
Great couple though. Tom and Gail Wise are awesome, and they still
Yeah.
show the car, and they're very proud of it. The original owners, they still have it. They keep it up.
Wow.
Just great family and great car and great story.
Is it the VIN number? An 01 VIN number?
Not the VIN.
No,
Okay.
car number 1 is still at the Henry Ford Museum. We bought that back from the Canadian airline pilot when we realized
Oh,
he
is
had
that,
the first VIN number. VIN number 2 was owned by a co-author I knew out on the West Coast, and he, Bob Freya was his name. He had car number 0002. It was just a 6-cylinder coupe, Sam. Nothing
Yeah,
much, and
right.
he had restored it and was going to go auction it off. I guess he took it to auction 4 or 5 years ago, and I think somebody offered him like $300,000 for it. It was car number 2,
Yeah.
and it's validated, and he turned it down. Well, when he passed away a year or so ago, I think it went back up on auction. And Mike, I don't know if it cleared 150,000.
Yeah, I think it was right around there. That's about it. But yeah, Sam, Gail's car wasn't in numerical order for VIN number, but it was the first retail car ever sold.
The first
Right,
car out of the barn.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a story. I mean, Mustang has such a following, And it's what a miracle. 58 years later, we're still sitting around talking about Mustangs.
Oh, I know. I know.
And-
My plan is to retire after the 60th, John.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, we better get busy. We got to
Couple
come up.
more years.
We got to do a podcast and become Sam Oxford Jr. We could tell stories
Oh,
and have lots of fun like Sam does.
we could tell all them lies, you know.
Yeah.
No, we'd only tell the stuff we can't really tell when
The
we're
real
working, when you have a job.
right.
Yeah, we can't tell those stories. But no, that's the beauty of, Mike's in the hobby and he's selling Fords, but it's a huge part of his life. And me too.
Sure.
I deal with all the clubs. I'm going to speak at the Classic Thunderbird International convention down in San Antonio this October. I love Thunderbirds, but let's face it, when it comes to Ford, the number one iconic car is still Mustang. And who knows, maybe in a few years, Mike, your Bronco Owners Club will be bigger than the Mustang Owners Club. But right now,
850 members already.
are you kidding me?
No,
How many?
850 already.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
And this is like 3 months in.
You know,
Yeah, guess what?
where I live,
It's still a horse.
That's right.
where I live, across the street is a red 2006 Thunderbird.
Oh,
The
yeah.
one yeah. And then the lady on the corner, she's got one in the garage. I never hardly see it outside the garage. Another red one, 2006. It's crazy.
Resale red.
Yeah, right.
It's a shame. The Thunderbird brand, a lot had happened to it. Originally it was the prototypical club car. The Mustang clubs formulated after Thunderbird. They were the society built around this country club, beautiful Grand Tour with a V8, incredible styling. Even when it went to a four-placer in 1958.
Yeah, but I think
Even that-
I think where they missed the boat on the 2006 or so, I think was the engine itself. I think people looked at it and said, "Oh, it's a nice looking car. It looks like it's fast, but reality is it's a dog." So
Well,
I don't know what their thinking was behind that, but
they based the car off the Lincoln LS, and for them to package the Lincoln LS is a much larger car.
yeah, right.
And for them to package it in the T-Bird, it had to be really changed, especially the intake and the profile of the hood, so that really suffocated breathing on that car.
Yeah,
So 3.9, it was, and then mating with the transmission was an issue. They had some issues with that. And then a lot of other people said the other thing they didn't like, they kept the LS interior. Thunderbirds were always about the interiors.
yeah,
The swing away wheel, the seats, the couches in the back,
right.
the cockpits, like you're on a jet fighter in
Yeah,
a T-Bird. And by just keeping the Lincoln interior, people said, you know what, that they missed the boat.
missed
The
the boat.
design, I could have used some fins. Mike, you like fins? I love them.
Especially on Broncos. Yeah,
They've done a great job. Bronco does harken back to the original little boxy thing we had.
oh,
And this-
I'm amazed. I see so many of them on the road. It's crazy how many of them are out there.
First fins I ever seen was on that 57 Chevy. It was one up north with my grandpa, and
Right.
that's the first one I seen. Then I started seeing the old Cadillacs and things like that. But 57 Chevy was obviously the first I seen with a set of fins.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the shoebox cars, Sam. You were up. We went up against all those shoebox Chevys,
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
and you warned me you might mention Chevrolet tonight.
Oh, did I mention that to you? I did not.
My best friend Mike Ray mentions it.
Oh, did he?
He says the C word, Chevrolet. But you know what? You got to give them credit. They're still downtown. I went down past the Rensen, which, by the way, incidentally, for those people who don't know their Detroit history,
Yeah.
the Renaissance Center was a project started, our tallest skyscraper, by Henry Ford II. He was the impetus behind creating a new downtown area around the Renaissance Center. And yet when Ford moved out and back to Dearborn, who takes it over as the world headquarters? General Motors. How ironic. The place is half empty because Even today with COVID restrictions, nobody wants to go back to the office to work. So
Yeah.
one of those people that invested all of your Bitcoin in offices.
Yeah, right. You're right about that one. God.
Yeah, you're gonna be standing on the corner with a sign that says "We'll work for ramen noodles."
Right.
So yeah, Mary Barra just said she's gonna stay in downtown Detroit. So I give them credit. And the new Corvette, it's a supercar. Keeping it at that price, it's
Oh,
amazing. And Cadillac, Ford's found out
it's sort
how
of
hard it is.
the Cadillac.
Yeah, Lincoln can't
Cadillac's a
compete.
style.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, look, they have a design um,
but
structure to them. They look like
yeah,
chiseled. And
the
Lincoln's been
Corvette
designed.
looks like a kit car to me. Looks like I swear it does.
It does actually.
What?
Whenever you look at a kit car and you look at Ford GT. I mean, that's not even you can't even compare the thing.
No, okay. The Ford GT in 100 years, Sam, when you're probably going to get ready to tape your last show.
I think tonight's the last show.
My words, the Ford GT in 100 years from tonight will still be cool. It'll still be beautiful. It'll still make people go, "Oh my, look at that. It's a piece of art."
Right. And Ray sold it to me.
Yeah,
Oh
of course the lease payment is $2.7 billion.
Yeah, right.
Adjusted for inflation, of course.
Yeah,
Right.
we got that one right. All right. We got to wrap this thing up. We've been going 40.
Wait a minute.
Doesn't
I got
time
all
fly when Tom's talking, Sam?
Wait,
Dude.
I got the list of things I wanted to talk about.
Hey, you're not supposed to have a list out there.
He's
What
got 4 more hours to go, Sam.
Wait a minute. So first the Earth cooled, and then the dinosaurs died, and then that's how we got fossil fuel.
Is that? Oh God.
We gotta-
Okay. All right.
But we gotta go.
That's what polluted the air. Is that right?
Yeah, when the meteor hit.
Right.
We can only hope it gets us again. It's the only way. It's the only salvation. So listen, Mike and I wanted to talk about the hobby, where it's going with young people. We got a lot more stuff to cover. We got the whole idea of, is EV going to create clubs around EV? Are we going to be able to? Are we ready for it? Is the infrastructure ready?
No, we're not.
What's going to happen to us petrol heads?
Sam's got Christmas shopping to do.
Yeah, Sam, we didn't talk about it.
Oh, geez. Well, we'll have to do it next time.
Okay.
Next time.
Okay. Well, thanks for having us. At least.
Well, we appreciate it. We
I'll
thank you very much.
I'll save the list.
Yeah. But
Call
did you
me
get the first two things?
Oh gosh, you guys are crazy.
No, I forgot how to end the show. Before we end the show,
That'll do it for you.
No, this was Mike's show, and he wanted to talk about Boxem and Moxem.
Don't forget Shirt Gallery, Martin, Kentucky. Any of your T-shirts or embroidery work, they sponsor all our shirts and T-shirts. And don't forget Thursday night, Mr. Don Hardy Jr. will be with us. So from Floydada, Texas, downtown Floydada. So we're looking forward to it. All right, you two. Love having you all on here. It's always a good time, and we'll do it again sometime when Broncos get all their chips.
That's right.
And the other
Thanks
chips.
for having us, Sam.
Explorers get their
Thanks,
chips.
Mike.
Everyone gets their chips. Jeez. General Motors got all. No, they don't have any chips. They're in pitiful shape, believe me. God. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the next trip. Hang in there. I'm going to cut it off right now. So.